What's up, everybody? How's it going?
Yo, what's good?
Hey, so we just wanted to create this short video about a album that we just recently heard. It's In the Court of the Dragon by the heavy metal band Trivium. It was released October 8th. Trivium's 10th album that they've released to date. And we've all been, well, at least Josh and I have been fans of Trivium for a little bit of time. And we decided to react to the album whenever it first came out. And neither one of us had heard it, and we reacted to it. And we actually had it on YouTube up for a bit. So if you were one of the fortunate people to watch it while it was up, then congratulations. Yeah, we've since had to move it to another source, so the link to that is in the description. Feel free to go check that out, and then come back and watch this review of the album, and leave a like if you want to see more of this type of content. So I'll go ahead and start my initial thoughts on the record. So, like I said, I was a pretty decent Trivium fan leading into this, but I hadn't really jammed their recent record too much. The one prior to this. But I got to say, this one was incredibly impressive, pretty much from start to finish for me. I would say for me, this is probably album of the year. And just overall, really, really impressed. Josh?
Yeah, like you were saying, I'm like a quasi Trivium fan. I like some of the earlier stuff. I like some of the hits from along the way, like In Waves, World Can't Tear Us Apart. Songs like that, right? So I've kind of kept up with them over time. I can't believe that this is already their 10th album. And I think it's probably pretty rare for a band to release their 10th album and for it to not just like maybe be their best album, but fucking obviously be their best album.
Absolutely.
Like the music in this album is untouchable. The musicianship, I mean, so good. It feels very creative without being like too smart for the room, right? Like, let's use Dream Theater as an example, Dave.
Let's not.
Dream Theater, I think they're always trying to outsmart their fans. They're like trying to do something that's incredibly difficult and, hard to follow along. Whereas there's not a moment in this album where you can't headbang to it. Now, sometimes you got to headbang faster. It's not all halftime, obviously, but Matt Heafy returned to form from a vocal standpoint, and fucking shit. I'm not a drum guy, but goddamn, the drums on this album are untouchable.
Alex Bent is the drummer. He's been their drummer for the last 3 records, and he is phenomenal. Jason, did you have some initial thoughts on the record?
Well, hands down, the best Trivium album I've ever heard.
I think.
How many have you heard?
Yeah,
this one.
Okay,
but you actually had an interesting.
The problem is this is going to sour you on every other album.
But Jason, you do have an interesting take on this, so I want to hear it.
I like heavy metal. I've been into heavy metal for a long time, but I'm not a big fan of certain styles of singing for the most part, and the Cookie Monster growling. Or the high-pitched singing is not my style for the most part. But, I think Trivium, at least as far as this album that I listened to, had a good mix. Even throughout just each individual songs, they had probably 60 or 70% of the vocals were right up my alley. And so I'm able to tolerate the bits and pieces where they shift the way they sing. And musically, like, the talent is absolutely obvious. So I enjoyed the album. It was very good. I was pleasantly surprised.
Jason, are you planning on participating in the top 50 metal album of all time shows that we're going to do?
Sure.
Good luck.
Yeah.
All right. If you hate growling vocals and you hate high pitched vocals, I've been hitting that list in the gym here for like the last couple of weeks, and it's got King Diamond all over it, bro.
Oh, no,
you want to talk about the highest pitched shit of all time?
My thing is that, and I'm going to try and do this when we get to that, and when we get to Slayer, and when we get to other stuff that we're
Anthrax.
doing, Anthrax. I like Anthrax. But I am going to attempt to listen more musically than vocally, which is not how I normally listen to music. So
hopefully this album, hopefully we can work this album into this list, because I think it deserves to be on the top 50 metal albums of all time list, in my opinion.
So
already.
So let's well, while we're at that, let's go ahead and let's finish this video off. So favorite song for me off the album. Now there's lots of good material I could have chosen here. I'm gonna go with "Fall Into Your Hands." I just felt like, in fact, if you can watch our reaction down there in the description, I actually do say it live while reacting to the record. So. I mentioned that it was pretty much instantaneous that it was my favorite song on the record, and I've listened to the album several times since then, and it's reaffirmed that. So, beautiful track. It has a really great outro that leads into the next song, and just overall blistering solos. It's got like 2 or 3 minutes of instrumentation in the song that's just fantastic. So, Josh,
God damn it, Dave. You stole mine. All right, I'll go with the chalk pick, which is my second favorite song on this album. But since you took my favorite, I'm gonna go with "In the Court of the Dragon," which is the title track here. I mean, this song it's nonstop. It's fucking tempo change heaven. It's fucking riff change heaven. I mean, there's got to be 15 different riffs in this song and all the different sections. And I think coming from Megadeth right now, where I feel like we're just constantly shitting on Megadeth when we're talking about this Trivium album. But the weakest part of a lot of Megadeth records are actually the title tracks. So it's good to see that they put a title track on here and it fucking owns.
So, Jason?
Full disclosure, I only listen to these songs one time through. So I'm just going off my notes. In the real world, I would have listened to this quite a bit more and maybe ironed out my favorite song. Just based on my notes, my favorite song was Feast of Fire.
Hey, that's not a bad pick. That's a fantastic song as well. So,
yeah.
Least favorite song for me, and again, trying to qualify this here. This is not a bad song. This album had no skippers, and you'll see it'll reflect in the Shitometer score. But my least favorite song is "No Way Back, Just Through." Now I'll say this: I've listened to the song several times since my initial reaction, and it's better than what I remember it the first time through. But it's still probably the weakest song on the album overall. But it's also one of the shortest, if not actually, it is the shortest song on the album, minus the intro track. So just overall, I just felt like it was a slightly weak spot. Like I think you probably technically could cut it and it wouldn't affect the album, but it's by no means a weak song, and I won't be skipping it.
See, based on my notes, "No Way Back" was my second favorite song.
Oh, okay.
My least favorite song, just on my notes, again, could change if I listen to the album a few more times, is "Shadow of Arbiter."
Abattoir.
Is that right? Abattoir. I couldn't even tell you.
I was proud of Dave. He actually got that right on the first try.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you, Dave.
Yeah. Dave, you mentioned that intro track earlier. That's low hanging fruit, baby. I'm going with X as my least favorite track because it's the only useless, and it's still good, but it's the only useless piece of music on this album. Otherwise, I think everything else is lights out.
Yeah. So, our Shitometer score is basically the lower the better is the shortest way I can describe that. So it's 100 points scale, and anything that's 10 or less is considered legendary status. And so for me, it's going to be a 9. I think this is absolutely on the right there, entry level legendary status. Even though it just came out, like I think that I know I'll be jamming this record for years and years to come, and I think Trivium is going to have a very hard to top this record. And I think future metal records that come out that I listen to I'm going to unintentionally put them up against this record, and I think it's going to be difficult to top. So,
yeah,
I'll go next.
Go ahead, Foster.
go? Okay, so I'm going to revise my least favorite to "Dawn of Decadence." Apparently, further down in my notes, that was the song that I came up with. Anyway, Shittometer score. Like I said, this is not exactly my style of music. The talent is absolutely unquestionable. Production is phenomenal. I gave it a 27.
That's still very respectable. Again, anything under a 50 is a recommendation, and so a 27 from Jason, who doesn't really care for that type of music, or sorry, for the vocals rather. I would say that's a pretty strong recommendation.
Correct.
Yeah. Dave, you and I had the same score when we did our review, our live review that is posted somewhere else. Check the link below for that. But I also gave it a 9. I feel like this is not only Trivium's best album, but it's probably the best metal album to come out since 2016 at this point.
Yeah. Really strong.
And we're gonna get a chance to compare it against another good metal album. The new Bullet from Valentine record's coming out this month, so we're gonna do a live reaction to that as well.
So again, if you want to see more of that type of content, more type of reaction type of content, please like this video. It's an indication to us that we want to continue to do that type of content for you. And then again, if you want to see our full reaction and review of this Trivium album, check the link below, and we'll see you next time. Take it easy, everybody.
Later.
Later.